So in today's video, we're talking about your head, and we're going to show you how a movement which you may well have been trying to avoid could actually help you play the best golf of your life. So welcome back to the Forest of Arden, where today's topic is the head, and we're going to discuss some movements that we often see in the head which could really help you play some better golf, but potentially you might have been trying to avoid them in the past. So today's lesson plan is really to understand the difference between setup and impact, and then understanding what movements we need to make in our golf swing to ultimately get that perfect impact if there is one, and the role that the head plays in that. And obviously we're going to give you a little exercise and a drill which can help you work towards improving this. Just before we get started, if you're not a subscriber, I would love you to be part of our community. I really believe these videos can help you play some better golf. So pop on down to the description box, give that link a click, and also give the little bell notification a click, and that will just mean that you will be notified each time I upload a video. So the first thing we need to do is we need to understand the difference between setup and impact, and there is a difference, or there should be a difference. In the best players, there's a difference. So let me take my address to this golf club here, and this is a mid-iron, a 6-iron. But what we would generally tend to see at impact with the best players is they would very often have the grip significantly forwards of where it was at setup. They would very often have the trail arm more bent. They would very often have the hips rotated, and they would have the upper torso rotated as well. So there's quite a difference between where we set up and where we impact, and that's correct. We should do that. It helps us with lots of things that we'd like to do: ball striking, speed, distance, all those kind of things. So if we understand that, we're going to do a little exercise now, and we're going to talk about the radius, so the distance between my club head and my chest. So if I took my stance, I'm going to put the club out in front of me, and I'm just going to give myself a little reference point on the toe of that club. Now, let's say that reference point was the ground, so my golf club is now resting on the ground. Now, what would happen if I moved myself into that desirable impact position? Handle forwards, more rotated, trail arm bent. But if I did that, you'll notice that I've actually shortened the distance between the club head and the zip on my top. That club head has moved closer to me, or the other way to think about it would be it's moved further away from the ground, or that reference point that we had out in front of me. Now, it's fairly obvious why that is, because if we're creating an angle in this sort of structure here, that club's going to move towards me. We're also going to be opening our body a little bit, and that club head's going to end up getting much closer to my chest. So what we've kind of established now is setup and impact are different. If I go from my setup to my impact, the golf club will sort of move away from the ground and get closer to me. So how do I now make contact with that ball? Well, I generally have to have a little bit more tip over of the golf ball, and what you'll see there is my head is actually getting closer to the ground. So what do we see from the best golfers? We often, almost in all cases, we see the head slightly lower at impact than it was at setup. So the head gets closer to the ground. Like we said at the start, many of you may well have been trying to stop that in your golf swing. If you see your head go down, you might think that's a fault. You might think you're going to hit the ground early, or you're going to fat the ball. It's not necessarily the case. It would be more common in the amateur game, in the recreational golfers, to see the head actually start to go upwards slightly as they start down. So if you can imagine what we've just said, if you get to the top of your golf swing, and as you start down, your head goes slightly higher. If you were to even get close to a good impact position with your body, you would miss the ball above it. So what we can pretty much safely say is, if as you start down, your head stays at the same level or potentially goes up by an inch, you will not create a good solid impact, because you just can't. What you will do is you will try and create the longest distance that you can between the club head and your zip or your chest. What that's going to look like, it's going to look like this impact position, and that is not what we tend to see from the best players. The best players, we see more this impact position. They are not trying to get that club head yet as far away from them as they can. They will at this point here, but not at impact. So many of you who have that release early, that flick, that stall out with the body, that horrible feeling down at impact, it could well be because your head is going upwards as you start down. Once that movement happens, you cannot achieve that good impact. So the video really is more to actually try and get you to not be afraid in the top of the backswing position to have, as your downswing, a little bit more of a downwards towards the ground movement. I've done a few videos recently on how to start the downswing, and this would tie in very, very nicely with those. We would like to shift pressure to that lead side, absolutely, but absolutely as well, I would like you to feel like your head is actually moving slightly down towards the ground. Trust me, it is a good thing. Too much, absolutely, that's a bad thing, but a little bit is fine because it helps us achieve that good, solid impact. So we're going to go back up to the top, and I'm going to have the sensation that my head is going to move slightly down towards the ground in transition. And I've hit the ground after the ball, but the strike was good and the shot was good as well. So really having that sensation of down towards the ground is actually going to help me strike those irons well. Like we said, head up, you're not going to achieve a good impact. And hopefully in this video, we've kind of explained the reasons why that's the case. Because for me, when I was learning the game and my coaching philosophy is I like golfers to understand the reasons why we say things. If I jump on here and say, get your head going down towards the ground, it's going to help you. You're not going to do it because you don't understand the theory behind it potentially. So hopefully what we're doing in this video is giving you the theory behind it, helps you appreciate the movements better, understand them better. You're more likely to implement them into your game and trust them when you're on the golf course. And we all know how important it is to trust your golf swing. So thanks for watching. Usual stuff is down below. I'd love you to share this video if you think that there is someone that you know who could benefit from it. I'm sure they'd appreciate that. And also give this video a thumbs up if you like to, drop me a comment and hit that subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber. We'll hopefully see you back here again soon. Thanks for watching.